Why am I showing you a tire? That's why. I drove over 80 miles on that tire. Hey there, YouTubers. I'm tripping over everything. It's a mess in here. I've been grounded, I guess you would call it. The weather's been really bad. And I know a lot of you northern people and Canadian people and anybody in a cold climate just think I'm crazy because we get 8 inches of snow and we're buried around here. Well, we're not used to it, so we don't have the moving equipment for moving all that snow and stuff like that. So needless to say, I got a week off with pay at work, but couldn't go anywhere because the roads were solid ice and couldn't get out of the driveway without four-wheel drive. I mean, I could get out if I had to, but four-wheel stop just doesn't, works no better than anybody else's car. But I showed you that tire because after the snowstorms, that's what the cold weather does. Cold weather's rough. We ended up replacing batteries in a bunch of the cars, and my truck wouldn't start because it's a diesel, and it didn't like that -4 that we got that one day. But carnage, there's been a lot of cold weather carnage, including I did that video on having COVID, so that didn't help either. But today, that tire I showed you was on my daughter's car. And she comes home and she's like, "Dad, my car's going boop, 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 boop." And I'm like, "Oh, what'd she hit?" I figured she hit a curb and, bent the axle or something. And then she says, "No, I didn't hit anything." And so I'm like, "Well, it must be a tire." I figured it had a little bubble on it. Well, it didn't. It had a big bubble. The bubble was probably, I'm going to guess 18 inches in diameter. Broken belt, really. So I call our local Walmart, right? Because they're the only ones open on a Sunday. And I call them, and they tell me, "Yep, we don't have the size tire it needs, but we got the next size up." I'm like, I'm cool with that because I put the bigger tire on it anyway. Helps get a little better gas mileage. So I drive the car down there, right, Sunday afternoon. Drop it off at like 10 o'clock in the morning. Leave it there with the keys. And they call me back at like 2 in the afternoon. "We can't mount them." I'm like, "Well, why not?" "They're the wrong tire size for that car." I'm like, "Really?" I said, "Look at that car and look what's on the back of that car. I promise you it's the same size that you've got right there that I'm wanting you to put on." "Well, it's against policy. We can't mount a bigger tire." What kind of happy horse pucky is that? I'm the customer. I'm saying, "Put this tire on my car." And they say, "No, we can't do that." What's wrong with the world today? Really? I'm going, you seriously? I mean, seriously? You're not going to mount those tires. I'll sign a waiver saying I won't hold you liable if something works bad, rubs or whatever. Nope, we just can't do it. I'm like, so you just wasted my entire day to tell me you can't mount those tires. That's basically what they said. So anyway, when I was done being a Karen, just whining and crying, or I guess for you English folks, that'd be a sook, right? Crybaby. After I got finished yelling and screaming and crying, and no, I didn't yell at anybody. It's not their fault. It's their policy. It's their policy. But I wanted to, and I'm like, I don't understand that. I've been doing this for 40 years, and never once have I had somebody say, "I can't mount that tire. It's too big for the car." Have they seen donks? Right? There's donks out there with 21-inch wheels on like a Caprice. They mount those. I don't get it. I don't understand. My truck has oversized tires on it because I put big mud tires on it, and I needed, well, they're all terrains, but they're pretty aggressive. And they're bigger. I need bigger, wider, so you don't sink, Anyway, I'm going to be done. I'm going to be done, finish. I'll stop. Yeah, I'll stop being Karen now. And, we'll just go with that. In fact, I might just make an entire video out of that because it's worth a 2-minute video on how stupid Walmart's rules are. But when you need a tire fast, they're open on Sunday, but they got the dumbest policy. If you've got custom wheels, don't even bother. They won't mount it. You'll have to buy the tires there and go get it mounted somewhere else. So Walmart, big thumbs down for Walmart today. So anyway, I just figured I'd throw that out there for the rest of y'all. Now I'm going to go ahead and make the video I set out to make. This is why I went to Walmart on a Sunday to get a new tire. Can you see that? That not supposed to be there. It's got a broken belt that starts about here and goes to about here. And I had to drive about 80 miles because I drove all the way to Walmart, and I live out in the country. Drove all the way to Walmart, dropped the car off. They told me I couldn't, and now my daughter drove it. Let's back up the clock here. My daughter drove it 30 miles, well, 27 miles from work to home with that thumpity. And then got it here, and I called Walmart and set up an appointment. I drove it from my house to Walmart, which is about 24 miles. And then they told me they couldn't mount them, so I drove it back to about another 24 miles. Not quite to my house, but to a local shop that's just 3 miles from my house. So that's how much I drove on that. So about 80 miles got driven on that bulge in the tire, and this is where she was when he finally changed the tire out. And so I'm going to say by the grace of God, I made it. I did let a bunch of air out of it. I put it down to about 15 pounds, and that way this wouldn't go boom, when and if it did go down. But it was pretty darn close. And actually, if I look, that broken belt goes all the way to here. So it's all the way across this tire. So I'm going to say it's probably more than a third of the tire was bad. So this is just a crybaby Karen video, just about being not customer service. You know what I mean? Somebody who's not willing to do what the customer wants. What's this world coming to when we have policies because everybody's afraid of getting sued? I'll sign a paper. Let me customer have what they want, but let them sign a paper saying we won't sue you. Okay? Jeez, whiz, you're a bunch of paranoid idiots. Anyway, that's the story. I'm sticking to it. I just thought I'd let you all know in a short skit, short video, short whatever. The kind of treatment you get. What kind of place would let you drive away with that on the car? Geez, whiz, people. I don't want to get sued. Well, how about getting sued because you sent somebody back down the road with a tire like that? Duh. Anyway, enough crybaby. I'm going to let y'all go now.